When you run out of sugar, you can go to the grocery store. You may even be able to ask your neighbor. But what do we do when we run out of fossil fuels? As someone who cares greatly about our environment, I've decided it's time we find out. The answer is renewable energy. Whether we realize it or not, this is something that greatly impacts us all, especially future generations to come. Today, I'm going to discuss what renewable energy is, along with its benefits. I'm also going to discuss the negative effects of fossil fuels. My goal is for you to understand the importance of renewable energy in hopes that you'll continue to do your own research. You've probably witnessed renewable energy and didn't even realize it. Let's take a look at the different types. We have solar, wind, biomass, geothermal, hydrogen, ocean, and hydroelectric. I'm going to briefly explain each one. Solar energy converts sun rays into electricity. This provides power to things such as lights, heaters, gadgets, automotives, and pools. Wind energy, such as wind turbines, create electricity using naturally occurring airflow. Biomass energy is produced when organic matter is burned and used as a source fuel. Some examples are forest products, agricultural waste, energy crops, trees, animal residues, and urban waste. Geothermal energy is heat generated from the Earth's core. Some examples are hot springs, volcanoes, and geysers. This diagram shows how fuel cells combine hydrogen and oxygen to produce electricity, heat, as well as water, which can be used for things such as electric systems, producing pure water, and to power cars. Ocean energy uses waves, tides, and ocean currents to produce electricity. Finally, hydroelectric power uses dams to produce electricity. Now, let's take a look at the different types of fossil fuels. We have coal, oil, and natural gas. Millions of years ago, trees and plants sank into the swamp. Over time, heat and pressure turned them into coal. Coal is used for things such as electricity generation, steel production, cement manufacturing, and liquid fuel. Oil and natural gas formed when tiny sea plants and animals died at the bottom of the ocean. They were covered with sand and silt, and over time, heat and pressure turned them into oil and natural gas. Oil can be used for things such as fueling cars, trucks, and planes, pesticides and fertilizers, asphalt, and lubricating oils. Natural gas can be used for things such as providing electricity, cooking, heating houses and buildings, heating water, and fueling industrial operations. Now that we know what fossil fuels are, let's explore their negative effects. When fossil fuels are burned, they emit harmful compounds such as carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. These gases trap heat and warm the earth, also known as the greenhouse effect. Pollution comes from a number of sources such as power stations, transportation fuels, industrial processes, and agricultural byproducts. Acid rain occurs when compounds release into the air and mix with water, oxygen, and other chemicals. Acid rain kills trees, harms vegetation, erodes buildings and sculptures, and harms water and aquatic life. Here are some examples. As you can imagine, such pollution can cause negative health effects. According to a 2013 article on therevardreport.com, air pollution contributed to the following: breathing difficulties, eye, ear, nose, and throat irritation, increased risk of heart attack, and low birth weight in babies. And that's just to name a few. Information provided by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention website lists arsenic, radon, uranium, fertilizers, pesticides, and sewage as sources of contamination in our water. This contamination can cause adverse health effects such as gastrointestinal illness, reproductive problems, and neurological disorders. Possibly the most important fact is that fossil fuels are non-renewable. OurWorldInData.org provides a clear view of what our future looks like with fossil fuels. Coal can run out in 114 years, natural gas in 52.8 years, and oil in 50.7 years. Thankfully, there's a bright side, and that bright side is renewable energy. Aside from the obvious advantage that the energy is renewable, there are many other benefits as well. Most produce little to no harmful emissions. It can reduce global warming. It causes less pollution to our water supply, which leads to less negative health impacts. Another great advantage of renewable energy are the jobs it creates. Based on information provided by the International Renewable Energy Agency, renewable energy industries created 806,000 jobs in 2016. There are other great economic benefits as well. Renewable energy would allow us to use more domestic resources rather than depend on importing fossil fuels. It also can help stabilize electricity prices and reduce natural gas prices. The only thing better than saving money is saving the planet. Why not do both? You have learned about the different types of both renewable and non-renewable energy, the negative effects of fossil fuels, and the benefits of renewable energy. I hope you'll continue to keep up with this important topic so that we can be sure we have a clean and safe environment for generations to come.